All right, here we are, workout from home number 19 at the Four Bells Fitness Emporium. It's Monday, it's workout number 1 of the week, which means as by now you should know it's push-up day. We are in week number 5 of our push-up cycle, which means at this point things should be getting serious. But we're going to talk about push-ups in just a second after we've talked about our warm-ups today. As always, the warm-up is here to try and make sure the shoulders feel wonderful, shoulder stabilizers are awake, scapula is moving well. But what we also need to think is that for a lot of people working out at home, they have limited space and also limited equipment. So our warm-up today is pretty straightforward and pretty equipment low. All you really maybe need is a mat on the floor, some kind of PVC pipe or a broomstick, a band could be an alternative to that, or even a belt could be an alternative to that. So, for our 3 movements we're doing for our warm-up today, we are doing a shoulder dislocate. As I said, you could use a PVC pipe, a broomstick, a belt, a resistance band, anything you have available that is reasonably long. We'll be doing that for 10 reps today. For then, we'll be doing the old staple for shoulder stability as well as core activation, which is the shoulder tap, 10 slow, 10 fast. And then last but not least, something we usually add in as a corrective exercise, but also great for warming up the rear delts and the rear upper back in general, is the YTWI, which we'll be doing for 5 seconds in each position. So let's talk about those very quickly. So 3 sets is what we're doing in the warm-up. That means we start with shoulder dislocates. And as I said, you don't need much today. I've got a few things here, but they are not essential, and all of them can be pretty much replaced with something else. So, if you have a broomstick, here at the gym we have PVC pipes, very convenient. But maybe here I could just use my jiu-jitsu belt, I could use a belt from my bathrobe, I could use a resistance band. You know, use your mind, look around you, there will be something available. Either way, I'm going to start with the hands pretty wide, making sure I'm not flaring the rib cage up. I keep the rib cage down, abs pretty tight. I'm going to pass over, touch the low back, and then come to the front. So once I've done a couple of reps of that, if that feels pretty easy, I'm just going to incrementally move the hands in just a smidgen. Don't make massive jumps in, should be just little tiny jumps in, maybe a ½ inch or a centimetre, depending on which, I suppose, increment, well, what am I looking for? Unit of measurement you prefer. What do you prefer? Inches, centimetres, what do you prefer? Once I've done shoulder dislocates for 10 reps, put that bad boy down, and we're going to do some shoulder taps. So as always, if you remember, we're going to have the feet a little bit wider than we normally do, so we're going to be taking one hand off. I'm going to touch the shoulder. I'm going to do 10 reps nice and slow. Once I've done 10 reps slow, should be 10 reps nice and fast. Last but not least, from there, we're going to get into the YTWI. Now, if you've done YTWIs before and you're feeling very confident, then you could use some light plates. We've had people use cans of beans. The idea is if you're pretty good at them, we're going to go over how to do them in a second, you can of course use plates. So, 4 positions, Y, T, W and I. I can grab my plates, I set up into a Y position. Usually I find that when we start this, people start with their arms too wide. They're more like a T than they are like a Y. I start by raising the thumbs up, engaging the low traps for 5 seconds. I then bring the arms out into a T, squeezing the shoulder blades together for 5 seconds. Elbows down towards the hips, hands up, don't shoot, squeezing the upper back for 5 seconds. And then I bring the hands behind, lift the palms up, engaging the lats for 5 seconds. So, we are going to do 10 shoulder dislocates, 10 slow, 10 fast with the shoulder tap, 5 seconds in each position of the YTWI, and we are doing that 3 times. Workout from home 19, it's the strength piece. As we are now in week 5 of our push-up cycle, we should have a very strong understanding of where we are in terms of our push-up strength and what path we are taking in terms of our strength development. Next week is test week, so I hope you know what's been going on for the last 4 weeks, because we haven't got much time to be developing strength now, which means that at this point, you should be thinking, if I'm doing scaled push-up, this is what I should be aiming for. If I'm doing regular push-ups, this is what I should be aiming for. If I'm trying to do a one-arm push-up, whatever it is, you should have a firm idea in your mind of what you've been doing and how we should be trying to progress down the road in this final week of strength development. When we're looking at our strength piece today, same format we've taken over the last 5 weeks. We are doing 5 sets. Each set is 3 minutes long. Within that 3-minute window, we have 3 levels of push-ups that we should be approaching. And once we are done our push-ups, we're going to be doing some rear delt flies. So we're going to talk about push-ups first, and then we'll talk about rear delt flies in just a little bit. When it comes to push-ups, as always, scaled push-ups means that as we're trying to get towards our first push-up on the floor, that progression towards the floor should get more and more intense. So the rep scheme now is 3 to 6 reps. Again, I'd rather see you closer to 3 and make it very challenging than closer to 6 and things get a little bit easier. But of course, you might find the first couple of sets you have to play around with that rep scheme. How can I get a little bit closer to the floor, etc., etc. Now, if I'm into level 2 and I'm doing my regular push-ups, or as some people are doing diamond push-ups, that volume increases again. So even if last week you did all 5 sets of 15 reps, fantastic work. But if you were last week doing all 5 sets at 7 reps, then the aim this week is still to try and add a few more reps onto every set if possible. We're trying to increase that muscular endurance. So always be looking to try and do a little bit more whilst keeping that quality very high. Last but not least, our level 3 push-up, our one-arm push-up, just like with the scaled push-up. We're trying to get something we haven't quite got yet, which means it should be very difficult. We're now doing 2 reps per side. If you're doing those reps and you're like, boop, boop, it's way too easy for you. So it should be grindy, incredibly challenging reps at this point. So, when it comes to doing our push-ups, as I said, scaled push-ups now means I should be thinking on my boxes, I should be working lower and lower and lower to the floor. If I'm doing push-ups on the stairs at home, I'm getting lower and lower and lower to the floor. Find ways to make it difficult. That first push-up isn't going to come just by you hoping it's going to come. You've actually got to actively work to get down there. If we're doing our level 2 regular push-ups, you've just got to think about the quality and try and really endure those longer and longer sets now. But last but not least, if we're talking about one-arm push-ups, what I really want to think about today is ways to make those single reps, because I would almost consider it like, I know it says a set of 2, but I would almost consider it 2 single reps with a little pause in between. Obviously, we're still going to be in that plank, but the idea should be that each rep should be so intense, I should need a little break in between. So as we spoke about before with the one-arm push-up, with that one arm that is working, we've started to move the arm away, and now we've started to move the arm down towards the hip. But if I can, I want to try and now get to the point where I'm trying to use this hand for like a little bit of assistance. Maybe I'm using for a little bit of a push off through sticking points, or maybe I'm just using it to help me through the concentric phase. So it could be that I'm setting up in my one arm push up, and now it's like I'm just using the finger a little bit, maybe it's just there for balance, and then when I get to the bottom position, maybe from here, I'm using the hand to help me get back up. So again, find out where those points are, where you can maybe do that one arm push up, and use the hand to help you just a little bit now. So this arm should be like, he's just a stabilizer. These are the 2 wheels at the back of your bike when you're a kid. This is what we should be thinking about. So as we get into rear delt flies, as it said on the board, 15 reps, which means that a little bit longer. Last time we did these were just for sets of 10. Again, the weight should be relatively light. I'm trying to make sure that when I do my 15 rear delt flies, I'm going to hinge forwards into that Romanian deadlift position, raise the dumbbells up, squeeze, and then slowly down. Squeeze, slowly down. What I'm trying to avoid is flapping around like a seagull. I'm trying to avoid moving my head forwards, and I'm trying to avoid leading with the elbows. Let's try and make those reps as strict and delicious as they can be. Push-ups, level 1, 2, 3, followed by 15 rear delt flies, and that is a strength piece. Workout from home 19, the conditioning piece. Very straightforward today. Essentially, we have 3, 1-minute stations that we are doing 6 times for a total of an 18-minute workout. So our first minute station today is going to be bear crawls. So we're going to talk in a little moment about how to do bear crawls even within a confined space, or even if you have lots of space, fantastic. And the second minute will be human makers, sometimes known as man makers, woman makers, people builders, bitch builders. We have a ton of different names for the human maker within the gym, and we're going to talk about the different options, whether you have dumbbells available or if you don't have dumbbells available. Our third minute doesn't require much talking, but it is the best minute. It's rest. Yay! So let's spend a little bit of time talking about bear crawls. Bear crawls. You don't need a ton of space to do bear crawls. The most fatiguing part about bear crawls is not only the contralateral movement, moving opposite hand with opposite leg, but it's more about being on the hands for that period of time and the shoulder stability fatigue that comes with it. So you don't need to be in a big space. As you can see, I'm inside a metaphorical cage of fitness. I don't need to move far, which means I can be on the hands, up on the toes. I'm going to move opposite hand, opposite leg, and I don't need to move very far to get a little bear crawl workout in. So don't feel like you need a massive amount of space, and even if you've just got a few inches to move around, you don't need to have a whole gym with a giant area of space. You just need to be able to move opposite hand, opposite foot, up and down a little bit. That's it, get creative. Bear crawls. So the human maker, sometimes known in the fitness realm as a man maker, is a compound movement involving push-ups, rows, squatting, and overhead pressing. And a lot of level changes, going from standing down into a plank, back into a squat, going overhead. So the idea behind it is all these big compound movements, as well as those level changes, are guaranteed to change your blood pressure, elevate your heart rate, create an oxygen debt, and fatigue you. That is the nature of it, as well as working on muscular endurance at the same time. With our man maker, human maker, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty straightforward. So let's talk about the option if you do have a pair of dumbbells available. It should be starting with the dumbbells in my hand. I come down onto the floor, shoulder width. From there, I jump out into a plank. I'm going to do a row, either on the toes or on the knees. We do a push-up, we jump the feet in, stand up, dumbbells to a front rack position, we squat, and then you can either strict press overhead or you can push press overhead out of the squat. If you don't have dumbbells available, what can you do? Pretty much the same thing, we just don't have weight involved, which means we might be able to move a little bit faster, and it might even be a little bit easier. Huzzah! From here, I'm starting a standing position, hands down for a plank, shoot back. From here, row, push up, jump the feet in, squat, and jump. That is how you can do it without dumbbells. And that is the human maker. So guys, last station is resting. Resting's pretty straightforward, just rest. I recommend either standing, seated, laying. Some naps, if you can squeeze in a nap in between, you know, just a quick hong chew, then that's what I recommend for resting. Yeah, don't overthink it. Today's conditioning piece. Minute of bear crawls, minute of human makers, minute of resting. We're doing that 6 times. It's going to be glorious.